Hi guys, we're on to day 4 of our book, The Boy Who Dared. Last time we read, we just learned about the Reichstag fire, so hopefully you guys got a chance to take a look at that video. And you can tell me if you think it was propaganda or if that's really what happened. Anyway, the last thing that Helmut said was jail is a good place for people who want to destroy the government. And that's kind of something that we'll talk about here in a little bit in the lesson. So here we go. More swastika flags hatch overnight, and the next day they flutter like bright birds from balconies and windows everywhere. That afternoon, Helmut is eating bread with strawberry jam when Opa's good friend Heinrich Vorbs knocks loudly on the door. Brother Vorbs is a peculiar old man, full of opinions, and everything he thinks he says in a loud voice. Brother Vorbs just can't help himself. That's what Oma says. Helmut likes the old man, shouts and all. Everyone does. Brother Vorbs waves a newspaper at Opa. The headline blares in thick, bold letters. Reichstag burns. Communist threat turned back. Hitler declares emergency decree for protection of state and people. That carpet chewer, cries Brother Vorbs. This new decree takes away our freedoms. Freedom of speech, gone. Freedom of press, gone. Right to privacy, gone. The police can search our home, listen to our telephone calls, read our mail, and Hitler calls it protection. Sometimes I think the biggest winner is the biggest liar. Helmut is shocked at Brother Vorbs. Brother Vorbs is a Mormon, just like Helmut's family. Mormons are taught to respect their country and its leaders, even if one disagrees with them. But the communists burned our Reichstag, says Helmut. Hitler wants protection for us. It's not the communists we must fear, says Brother Vorbs. Now we must fear what we say to our neighbors, what we say in our own houses, and what we say over the telephone, and what we write. Opa tries to calm down Brother Vorbs. The decree is just a temporary inconvenience. A few freedoms aren't too much to sacrifice for safety. Helmut is surprised. It's the first time that he has heard his grandfather agree with Hitler. How can you say that? Says Brother Vorbs. Decree or no decree, I have always spoken the truth and I intend to continue to do so. He stands, thrusts his black felt hat onto his head. Oma comes from the kitchen, wipes her hands on her apron. She motions a chair to a chair at the table. Come, Brother Vorbs, sit. But Brother Vorbs won't stay. Even though Oma asks 2 times. I can't sit, he says. I need to walk, to settle my stomach. Opa folds the newspapers and sets it down. He follows Brother Vorbs to the door. The decree won't last forever, says Opa. Nor will Hitler, says Brother Vorbs. That's what I pray for. I will never vote for a Nazi, no matter what they promise us. Helmut glances at the folded newspaper. He sees a photograph of the arsonist, a squinting, tousle-head young man. Oma peers over Helmut's shoulder and clicks her tongue. So young, she says. I can't help but wonder how Hitler knew so quickly that it was a communist plot. Helmut can't stop staring at the culprit's face. What will happen to him? Asks Oma. The Nazis will find him guilty, no doubt, she says. With a sigh. They'll sentence him to death. That's what happens to traitors. She clicks her tongue again. So young. A week later, it's election day, and Oma and Opa dress in their Sunday best. They stroll arm in arm to vote at the town hall. Later, they hear the results. The Nazi Party has gained a slight majority of seats in the Reichstag. Even people who despise Hitler have voted for Nazis, believing that the Nazis are the best protection for communists. Suddenly, brown uniforms sprout up everywhere. Helmut's teacher, Eder Ziegler, wears his SA uniform to the school, and his Nazi Party badge winks in the light as he struts around the classroom. He holds up the Vorsker Bobischer, a Nazi Party newspaper, to Helmut's class. The headline shouts in thick letters, Germany, defend yourselves. Don't shop at Jewish stores. Look what the Jews force us to do, says Eder Ziegler. We must boycott the Jews in order to save the fatherland. Benno Schlegman's eyes narrow to pinpricks. It's no secret that the Jews hate Hitler and have called for an economic boycott. Jews all over the world have called on fellow Jews to boycott German goods in order to protest Hitler and the Jew-hating Nazi regime. A classmate raises his hand. My father says the Jews want to cripple the fatherland's economy. They will take over. Exactly, says Herr Ziegler. We have 6 million unemployed and 3 million so poor that they can't put food on the table. Haven't we Germans suffered enough already? Don't you want your mothers and your fathers to suffer less? The students murmur in agreement. Helmut thinks about Moody, how hard she works, how tired she is. He doesn't want Moody to suffer more. But all the things Herr Ziegler says about the Jews feel terribly wrong. Unease crawls over Helmut. Herr Ziegler glares at Benno and lowers his pointer, aiming it like a sword. You see, class, Jews are traitors who want to destroy Germany. And what does the Jew Schlegman have to say? This shocks Helmut. Benno Schlegman and his family, traitors? How could that be? Benno's father flies the gold and black flag of the Weimar Republic. A portrait of Reich President Hindenburg hangs in his butcher shop. Herr Ziegler fought in the Great War, where he was wounded and earned an Iron Cross for his bravery. He wears his lieutenant uniform on national holidays. Herr Ziegler doesn't wait for Benno to answer. He stalks around the room. We must defend ourselves against bankruptcy. We must defend ourselves against Jews and their worldwide plot to take over Germany. We must fight back. If the Jews want to boycott everything German, then we must boycott everything Jewish. He stops at Benno's desk and leans into his face. After all, it's an eye for an eye, isn't it? An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, Herr Ziegler, says Benno. This infuriates Herr Ziegler. His neck stretches into tight cords as he screamed, See how the Jew twists my words! See why Jews can't be trusted! Herr Ziegler grabs Benno's collar, drags him to a front row seat, shoves him into the chair. Sit here, he says, his face purple with rage, so we can keep an eye on you. Benno sits, chin jutted, doesn't look the least bit sorry. The next day, Herr Schlegman and his wife come to the school to meet with the head teacher. Benno retrieves his books and never comes to class again. He is transferred to the Jewish school. All right, we'll stop right there. See you guys on day 5.